Welcome back, guys. My name is Jerome Adrian Batas, or also known as J.A. Batas. I'm the Wattpad author of the epic fantasy series The Archipelago, featuring the first book, Blood and Gold. If you wanted to read the book, the link is in the description. Chapter 4, In the Perspective of Jarvis Gloregon, titled The Sentry Arrives. Jarvis Gloregon on his warship arrives at the port of Kelera. The Baron of the King settled across the shore, High Lords of Kingdom Orbitaris, the great high force they called. Most of the infantry are populated by young men. No women of arms are seen. No age demand to be part of the force. Thus far equipped heavy titanium bonded armor of the knights and archers from head to toe. Spikes of titanium sticking out like a sharp beetle horn, killing whilst an unaware enemy go near onto it. He was proud to show everyone the assets obtained. Banners visible on the shore where they draw near. Black lion heads geared up to devour. Staring behind the grey horizon on the pride dark royalty during the time stopping on the port. Huge and strong, the captain slowed down the vessel, knocking against the fortified halting borders of Kelera port. Massive steel crossbows, turrets, and iron catapults are being built at the seaside as a defending wall for what is to come. Not far from the seaside borders are medium-sized patrol ships they pass through, with guardsmen of the sea ravaging the edges of the island they will settle in. Beside the port is a barrack where the comrade in arms break one's journey to serve the land they intercede in. Packed summoned by the kingdom, armed men and archers gun down the ship as well as others. Rearmost the captain of the ship, lean itself behind the pack of iron lads, is the admiral. Furious faces to get the strength and experience on the sea they look out for. They salute. Jarvis made his way to his golden cargo by jowl of his maid-servant, named Luada. The scattered men piercing their eyes at the time he omits the strong wood warship. Hurry up, girl. Stop being stupid. We have something to relay for the king. The opposers are on the island, so we need to go and do something about it. Over and beyond the rivals, said Jarvis. Yes, my lord, Luada replied. She mumbled on her bleeding red lips. His nobility talks out gulped, still at his necklace on the lion's tooth. Affixed his eye on the warship he has gone to, and commanded one of the knights alongside him, docking the southern islands. Luada, please bring me Sir Akali and the dwarf Sheriff Navarrete together with her Lady Ravina as well. I'll call them for a discussion. Now! A face with stern walking to the wagon near the barracks. The forest is thick in the distant nearby, and covering the mountains surrounding the mythical glory of Circle of the Chained. Mountains hid the unknown. The music is resonant throughout the some time at the realm, but they never knew what's folding for at the hid behind the Alps. Eyes of people who don't need to see it, but he heard. Ears they affix, inevitable to clear it. The fairy baron shouted as they walked towards the wagon with three banners of mighty lions facing the mountains. In the back of his firm attitude as a nobleman, he left the seat and gave a hand to Lady Ravinia of the council seated beside Luada, then let Sir Akali lead the horses beside Navarrete. An equestrian learned from many battles on a horse ride, behind two bannermen with a claymore ready on the sheath. Where are we going, my lord? Sir Akali asked. The knight asked with worry. He doesn't know where he just mounted on can get him. Shut down any words for now, Akali. We talk when we get there. Obey me by the name of the king, Jarvis said. Terrified, a man at arms of the archers and the sheriff got turned down by those menacing words away from the Obritaris creeds. The wagon is stumbling a slight. The road is ruined, kindred like the castles a stone throw from them scattered around, rocking the opposite road of Whipple. Ups and downs they go, wheeling the muddy puddles, seeing them jumping on their seats, bumping the debris, taking them dawn to before noontime to arrive. Beyond any doubt, here we are. Ruined castle of Kalgatik cluttered by an earthquake 10 years ago by the beast we do not know for. Around the Alps you see forward, inside of the Alps was one of the nature's destruction, Lady Ravina said. A beast? Sheriff Navarrete asked. The young sheriff. frowning answer of the lady, the half-man sheriff about to speak. He got interrupted instead. Did you ever live here? Or maybe you're just not familiar by the magnificent being within it, as you're just one of the citadel waiting for your money? He gorges himself. He's surrounded by stern high people answering small questions, thus mind hungry for knowledge. I'm not familiar, my lady, Sheriff Navarrete said. You will never know unless it's crying, Lady Ravina said. Soloret and Pauline can stand the muddy road surface after the rain. Lady Ravina, Navarrete, and the guardsmen halted at the side of the muddy entrance, leaving them to kick one's heels. Deserted, uninviting complexion enclosed the narrow space like a wall of trees by the side, steps of stones to the top of the ruined castle. The green filled the atmosphere, large vines and tree roots crossing the threshold of the ruined castle to the bottom within rushing waters like a waterfall. The storm lately caused the minimal chaos inside, shattering the abandoned beauty the men of Kingdom Orbitaris left to worship. And now I wonder why it's muddy in here. I don't need anyone to know this, so we can halt to ask you a thing. I will be desperate to know. We recently locked our anchor from the island this morning, so what is the deal? Sir Ackley said. The Baron of the King talked a sudden, intruding the winds of the breeze and chirping of tiny birds atop the statues of the castle. The place is likely a palace, a grand stairwell covered in mud and vines, figures, paintings at the partitions as they go down the steep steps. They halted, standing on the sigil of a lion, roughed, sculptured, and painted on the wet floor. It was stiff, and the smell of weed and grass gushing waters atop of the green moss. Insects of dawn crawling far and accumulates the space, the uninhabited by people since the wrecking great earthquake by the hidden one behind the mountains. Wrecked Gondovis to its purpose, taking away the smell for the beasts of prey threatening one of their kingdom's hidden power. Their eyes affixed. Sir Ackley felt the nerves at the tip where he stares into the spirit. Did you do what I told you before you act in accordance with them as they go? The fishermen and the two brave boys, how about them in that little boat? Jarvis growled sarcastically. I obeyed your command, my lord. We followed the boat, giving them the pack of golden fishes you wish for, and let them go without any trouble, Sir Ackley said. But then Lord Jarvis wondered, glaring with fear, supposing he will teach him some lesson at the place where the one's feet beset, drawing near steps in front of him, making plain unto his gold around his collar as he moves in the sun ray, gaping at the palace window. Remember when I told you to give them an outturn before making claims on the riches we gave them, right? Jarvis said, whispering. Yes, sir, Sir Ackley replied. Did you stick into it? Lord Jarvis interrupted as he answered his questions. Without any question and check, my lord, I followed and obeyed what you asked for, Sir Ackley replied, nodding. Good. And one more thing. They were about to head out, but Jarvis pointing the finger at him. Never let anyone know it. Bring it onto the open only for the king and the council, the Grand Council. Obey me by his name. I'm one of the Baron of this kingdom. We must protect the intelligence as much as humanly possible. Got it? Yes, sir, Sir Ackley claimed. They got out of the ruined palace. The horses of the ride halted there, killing the time as they talk, briefly. And then right before noon, the sun gazes beyond the side. Separated within the dark clouds come carrying a storm. The challenging period of the ride begins again. This time, the black hooded messengers on a cloak mounted and ride the same path as them, rushing into the winds they come to give and pass the words needed an answer. They saw them riding fast as incapable for, otherwise than the cart they passed through is a royal one. They can't look down on one's nose at the commands called for them, so one he called. Navarrete the dwarf hissed the messenger cloth in black cloak riding a black horse. He turns his rope to the side, facing them slowly, looking sinister yet a stranger it may seem, a part of them a duty they carry on their backs. And then the messenger slowly approaches. What is it you command? A red-haired boy blocking off the light in his face seems to be having a squint inside the golden wagon. An appearance, all of them as sparse but in the same path as the road is on the place. Where did your piece of news came from, boy? Hand it for me, Jarvis asked and ordered. He recognized already that it's the Baron, Lord Jarvis Gloregon, the bold one with the credible gold and wealthy symbol components full of admiration no matter when he walks out of the forces. At first touch and see, the seal sticking apparently on the paper, an inspector's message marked with the seal of a black tarantula. The hidden ones, they call it, scattered around the opposite take care of the information needed undisclosed publicly as possible. You heard me, don't you? Go back to the emissary camp or whatever you are shelled in, and take the other message as you needed. This one is predominant to the head of the state, for it's an inspector's word as I see in the seal. I'll take care of this. You understand? He commanded. But why? It is my duty. With my respect, my lord, this is not the message you fondly anticipate. The message only needed the king's answer, the messenger replied. The young messenger answered him with respect and hidden irate at the same time. He's holding an inspector's word, compelled to the high head. Where is this word need to be going again? Tell them you delivered it to the king. The baron gave it to you. Expect them not to care, since I hand the king by his name. Now take it. We'll take care of the answer. The royal lord asked the mounted boy with the gold. I'm taking the letter to the castle of Samitsai, where the king resides, messenger replied. Reach out of his deep pocket pouch, clings a ton of its gold onto its clothes. He grabbed 18 nakelays, thrice their daily duty income. Jarvis then chuckled but was polite to him. The messenger continued. Never introduced himself, even his note, background, and reverence. Traveling back to the emissary camp, which every town, every port, and every castle have in common for messages to be received miles from them, by a messenger, as they call it. It is needed to go in as unbudgeable speed as possible to get to the Samitsai castle before dusk. The king's throne lies where he sits. The summit's eye smiles here, my lord. We should take messenger for that. Lady Raviner encouraged Jarvis, netting another way to message the king. Let me tell you, my lady, a discourse or one-to-one will be a better choice. No ironic thoughts and message likely sent by the messengers on a paper. A little piece of paper. A better way to know a person's true feeling is talking to them in person. Not to talk like ravens and falcons a mile away showing a false truth. And one more thing. Others will know it in the port, in the castle. None of them will be made aware of this situation. Got it? Fortunate, they think. Sustenance behind them is enough for a morrow before they arrive. Salted fish do not perish and loaves of bread. The castle is miles away, closer to Agenvar and facing the Whipple Road, but still notably far, making their stomach uneasy by the travel. Slipped through his mind to seek and open the message. It is wrapped, moreover dusted by the wind, and answer the question on his thoughts, who by given the king a word. The message only needed the king's answer. He thought again.